Welcome to the channel. This channel is about me rowing. Um, 48 years old, relatively unfit. Once upon a time, I used to use this thing quite regularly, um, and I used to row 4 or 5 times a week for quite a bit of time. I'd sort of do about 45 minutes of rowing from either quarter to five, quarter to six in the morning, do it before I went to work, or I actually swapped it around a little bit, and sometimes I'd do it after dinner at night. All in the pursuit of something along the lines of perfection. I don't know. Um, as does happen, get a little bit older, sort of ran out of steam, and kind of lacked a little bit of something in my life. Um, Not really too worried about getting into all of that in this channel, but I'm going to touch on a couple of things. So the first few weeks of this channel are going to primarily be about me getting fit enough to use this thing a lot. At the moment, I am nowhere near fit enough. As I mentioned, 45 minutes on a rowing machine is it's pretty difficult, and being 48 years old, I don't really want to go jumping straight into that straight away. So I'm going to have to put together a exercise regime for myself and stick to it, commit to it, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, maybe 3 weeks' time, I will be on this rowing machine. What I have done is I've actually just tried to book it in for a service because this has been gathering dust. It's probably 2 years since I used it. I got sick and went into hospital, which is a very boring story, except for when I came back out of hospital, I didn't really want to exercise at all. I wanted to sit on the couch and watch a lot of sport, and I did that. So now I'm kind of looking at this machine and thinking, there's a couple of problems with it that I was sort of putting up with. Well, let's get it serviced. So I've booked it in for that. And in the meantime, I'm going to be doing some other exercise to help myself lose this belly and also get myself a little bit more possibly coordinated, but also break the motivational barrier. Sounds a bit of a weird thing to say. I'm not too sure what I actually mean, but effectively starting exercise again. I've done it a number of times. Getting back into the gym, I have a concern about burning out very quickly. If I just jump on this machine and go for it, I'm going to get very competitive with myself and then burn out. That is not what I want to do. I want to have a long-lasting period of physical activity, physical fitness, and health. That being for the rest of my life. What did get in the way, other than sort of the health thing, was that I was traveling a lot for work. And I'm a bit concerned that I might have to start traveling for work again. But we're going to find out if that becomes the case. In the meantime, I need to get myself beyond motivation and into routine. I don't know if that quite makes sense to a lot of people, but once upon a time I used to wake up in the morning, and when I was going to the gym, I didn't really think about it. I just went. And sometimes you'd go to the gym and you'd be motivated, and I'd just feel great. I'd get there and I'd try and produce the greatest exercise, try and do personal bests and things like that. And some days I would get to the gym and sort of realize as I was walking in the door that I didn't want to be there, not motivated at all, but I'd still produce a perfectly good exercise, a good I would have had a great day at the gym anyway. Also, sometimes producing, maybe not personal best, but you get what I mean, having a very good output. And it really hits, so I'm aware that it really has nothing to do with motivation. Whether you feel 100% or don't feel 100%, sometimes it's just about getting on the machine and starting. And that's where I want to concentrate myself for the next month. I have made a couple of notes about um, I might be touching on these topics in depth later on. Um, let's just tell you sort of I've made a list of what am I willing to give up, and what I actually mean from that is what am I going to struggle to give up. um, so first of all, watching sports. I love watching sports. I'm just so addicted to watching sports. Sports used to be quite a bit of my life, so I think by watching sports on TV late into the night, um, I'm keeping myself connected to an old life. Well, I have to rethink that. I have to rethink or just possibly just give up that part of my life for health and making sure that I am producing, I don't know, producing a physical fitness regime for myself that is healthy. Um, so late nights, sleep ins, and watching sports all kind of fit into the same group. Um, chocolate, ice cream, potato chips, sugary drinks, sweet treats. Those all sort of fit into the same group. I will very much struggle to give up chocolate. Everything else, ice cream, chips, sugary drinks, and sweet treats. I'll share this another time, but the diet thing, I'm going to struggle with one or two of those things. I do not intend to give up all of those things all the time, but more restrict myself to just at one or two treats a week. Um, I'll explain that in a diet um, video later, but I'm not intending to starve myself. I would just become a horrific person if I tried to starve myself. Okay, I do have a junk dinners item here, and I might need to. I'll just put that aside for a second. Social time is something that am willing to give up, or I'll struggle to give up. So social time with friends, family, that's actually becoming a thing these days. Whenever you get an opportunity to spend time with people that family and friends, you've got to take it. Like these days, it just sounds so difficult. It seems so difficult to find that time. So when somebody contacts you and says, "Hey, come over to my place," I really want to go. Um, so I'm kind of there's probably I've started a challenges list here, and I've got the food one, but I've also got one called loneliness. Um, not not intending to talk about my feelings on this channel too much, but I think I think people understand if you've ever been. I think cyclists that go out for 6 hours a day and just spend all day out cycling, or runners that just spend all day running, um, they will probably get it far more than I ever had. Where I know what it's like to get on this rowing machine and row instead of going out for dinner or meeting friends. Um, as I say, like if you're committing 45 minutes, you're basically committing an hour to it. And if you're switching the phone off, you're not involved in the world for an hour. Um, I'm not looking forward to that loneliness thing. So I think that's going to be. I think that'll probably be a switch. Um, at some stage, I'm not going to care about being connected to the world. And that kind of links into something else that I've actually listed here as something that I'm willing to give up. And that's things like social media. I don't bother with that crap. But I am on YouTube. I'm making this for YouTube. I have made YouTube videos before, and I am kind of giving up on being connected through all of those channels that I used to be involved with. You know, a participant in. I watch them and I comment, that sort of thing. Also, doom scrolling. I'm looking forward to giving up doom scrolling, so I have to be strict with myself. YouTube, I quite like YouTube as a concept, but the whole YouTube Shorts thing, I don't get it. I don't know why they did that. That's been damaging. I don't know if that's was it always like that. Like I don't really do anything like TikTok or Instagram or anything like that. Anyway, let's move on. Um, what do I need from others? So I need my family to help me free up some time from them. So that's a tricky thing for a lot of people to deal with. If you say, look, I'm gonna concentrate on my health and my fitness here. I don't have time to spend with you. I'm basically taking if I exercise 6 days a week, that's 6 hours that you're away from your family minimum, right? Um, and it's often at times that they want to spend time with you, but it's more than that. It's more than that. It's also your preparation time, things about um, food preparation as well, which so in here I need my family to accept and support my stricter diet. And that's a kind of a tricky one because guess who my worst enemy to do with food is? It's me. So whenever I say to my family, "Oh, I'm going to be strict about what I'm eating now," they go, "Oh, are you now? Oh, really? Okay. Oh, no, no ice cream then." So my family is less worried about fitness and things like that. They do like to watch what they eat, but guess who's the one that brings home the chocolate and all the ice cream and things like that? I I am looking for people to support me in breaking that diet. So when I go and say, "Oh, you're going to need to accept and support my stricter diet," they're going to go, "You first. You first." So that is really what I need is to start, keep it going, and then get them involved and well, not so much involved, but let them understand I am eating differently now. Um, on a different note, I kind of need my work to settle into a rhythm. Um, it's a bit tricky out there these days. I think everybody's work is tricky. So I'm kind of hoping that mine is going to be settling down into a bit more stable. If I have to travel, it's going to be very difficult for me to be getting on this rowing machine. It's going to be tricky to watch the diet as well. So I've been traveling for work for 5 years, and it hasn't been easy at all. And that food thing really becomes a challenge. I think for the first 3 months that I was traveling, I just ate from takeaway joints, just fast food for almost every night of the week. And it took me 3 months to start saying, okay, I can start getting something a little bit healthier now. Anyway, um, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I've finished the notes, and I didn't actually write anything under why, so I've got a heading there. Why am I doing this? Um, Look, I think I've got to the point in life that what is valuable? What is valuable to you? Once upon a time, I used to go to the gym and do all the ab crunches and do all the bench presses, and I used to run 40 kilometers a week. And all I was looking forward, all I was trying to do was try and look like Chris Hemsworth sort of thing. I wanted that body. I wanted to look awesome at the beach. And for a few months of the year, it was quite I regularly looked pretty good. Maybe not Chris Hemsworth, but I looked okay. And then over the years, as you start getting a bit older, you start to think, my God, all I want to do is just be active and capable of doing stuff. I just want to be capable of taking care of myself now. Taking care of just being active, being able to help people, help the family, help people get about the place. Excuse me. Sorry. I have just moved house, so while this has been resting in storage, and I've managed to move in, and it's been gathering dust. It needs a wipe off. I have managed to move into a house, and I needed help lifting stuff. I needed help putting everything together. I needed help with so many things, and I felt so weak. Now, I am kind of built, my body shape is built to lift things, and at the moment I ain't lifting anything. I have a very sedentary job. I'm basically at a desk most days. So I spend my life typing. And sometimes I get a standing desk. So that's healthier, is it? Maybe. Probably the thing to mention is that I've got injuries. I've got a rib cartilage injury, which is not great. That doesn't help much. But when I'm rowing a lot, and this is why I turned to rowing. So I gave up running because one of my knees is stuffed and two of my ankles are stuffed, and then I've got this rib cartilage injury thing, and I've got a neck problem. But when I turned to rowing, once I kind of worked out a rowing technique, and I'll happily have people criticize my rowing technique. Any direction that you want to provide, go for it. That was a game changer, really. So I'm going to be doing some weights, not heavy weights, and I'm going to be getting on an exercycle, which I am not a fan of. Exercycles, I swore I'd never get on an exercycle because I used to bike everywhere. But then I got hit by a bus I got hit by a bus when I was about 32 years old. Luckily, I pinged off it rather than going underneath. And I promised my mother I'd never ride my bike again. And then about 18 months later, I almost got hit by a utility vehicle. Yes, I was still riding my bike. And that was very, very scary, and that one was half my fault. The bus one wasn't my fault at all. This one was I was riding like a maniac, and another guy cut me off, and I had nowhere to go. But if I wasn't riding like a maniac, so I give myself 50% fault there, and I sort of think I had to give up the cycling. So the only cycling I do now is exercycle. Yeah. So the rowing machine really provides that physical output, and that's kind of why I'm doing it. Is that what? Did I answer that question? Did I answer that question? Why am I doing it? Yeah, I'd like to lose the weight. I'll make another video about what weight I am. It'll be about 105 kg, I'd guess, and it'll be I want to get down to 80 kg. That is highly unlikely. It's probably, if I get down to 85, that'll be obviously that'll be fantastic. But my for my physical health, I would like to sit at around about 80, maybe 82. Could I live with 82? Maybe I should make a goal of just saying 80. We'll come up with that another time. Thank you very much for watching this. I wish I'd written a few more notes. I hope that you pop back and watch another video. Like and subscribe if you are interested in watching a middle-aged man hopefully not record himself having a medical event. If I publish it to YouTube, you know I haven't done myself a terrible disservice. Thank you very much.